Well, Undine, are you ready for your story?
I am, Grandfather Atticus.
I'll give you 3 guesses to work out where we'll be learning about tonight.
I love learning about the world's wonders.
So do I, Undine. Here is your first clue. Within my sight lies a mountain.
Oh gosh, this is going to be a difficult one to guess.
You still have 2 more clues. Clue 2. It is the most famous archaeological site in the continent of South America.
I think this place may be somewhere in Peru.
You are getting warmer. Now for your 3rd and final clue. I am known as the lost city of the Incas.
I know what it is. It's Machu Picchu.
Brilliant, Undine. That is correct.
Oh, I'm so glad I got it right. This was a difficult one.
It was, Undine. Would you like to go explore it?
I'd really like to.
I'll grab my magic book. Let's go! Here we are.
This is so incredibly beautiful.
It really is, Undine. With all the mist, the sprawling greenery and the buildings, it really is a sight to behold.
But no one seems to live here. I wonder why it's called Machu Picchu. What does that mean?
Machu Picchu means old mountain.
Oh, I see.
They are ruins. It is an ancient Inca city in Peru. Although much of the Inca civilization was destroyed by the Spanish, it was never conquered and still stands intact on the South American continent. In fact, it was virtually forgotten about until the start of the 20th century.
That's really surprising.
It is, Undine. Although it escaped detection by the Spaniards, it is thought that the German adventurer Augusto Burns visited here in 1867.
So what happened then?
Hiram Bingham was responsible for bringing Machu Picchu to the world's attention again.
Who is he? How did he find it?
Hiram Bingham was a university professor at Yale University. In 1911, he was brought to Machu Picchu by locals who knew the place well. Hiram Bingham discovered Machu Picchu by accident when he was looking for the Vilcabamba.
What is Vilcabamba?
Originally, they thought Machu Picchu was Vilcabamba. Vilcabamba means Holy Valley, which is another hidden ancient city. Hiram Bingham spent his entire life searching for Vilcabamba. When he saw Machu Picchu, he wanted to prove that Machu Picchu was the lost city of the Incas.
So Machu Picchu is not Vilcabamba, right? Why is Machu Picchu built on a mountain?
You're right. The cities were built here for a reason. It is said that the outline of the mountain behind Machu Picchu represents the face of the Inca looking up to the sky, and the highest peak of the mountain was Huayna Picchu, which represents his nose. They wanted to be close to the gods.
I see. It's for their beliefs.
Archaeologists think that the Incas worshipped the sun, and that the sun god was their most important god. They chose such a high point to build a city as a means to get closer to the sun. Machu Picchu was not an ordinary city, but a center of activity for various religious rituals. It was also a country retreat for Inca nobles.
What about the stone? How were the stones carried up the hill?
It's a pity that there weren't any records left about how the stones were transported. We can assume that thousands of workers pushed the stones up the slope and carried them up.
What is that man doing there?
Ah, that man is doing a famous Inca building technique.
What is that?
The Incas believed that they should not take stone away from the ground, so they sought scattered stones from the surrounding areas to build their cities. They were built entirely by precise cutting and piling. The gaps between the stones and the walls are less than 1 millimeter wide.
That's very innovative.
Machu Picchu is believed to have been built around 1440 by the Inca ruler Pachacuti. It was inhabited until the Spanish conquest of Peru in 1532.
Where have all the people gone? How did it become an abandoned and desolate place?
No one is positive, and a lot of it remains a mystery. There is speculation that Machu Picchu was a secret place for the Inca saints to escape the war, though some scholars think that Machu Picchu gradually became an empty city due to arid conditions and a lack of water.
I can't believe everything is so intact.
It really is remarkable how well preserved everything is. There are plazas, residential areas, terraces, a cemetery, and major buildings. Walkways and thousands of steps are carved into the underlying rock as well.
It seems like you can see the whole world from up here. I can only imagine what it looks like at night.
It really is something. It served as an astronomical observatory for the Incas as well.
There's a big rock here. Isn't that weird?
Here is a very special stone called Intihuatana. It is made up of a stone and a pillar that protrudes from the top of it. It's the same size as a piano.
But why is it called Intihuatana?
Intihuatana means tied to the sun. During the winter solstice, the Incas prayed for the sun to return. The sun would hit the stone and move around it, creating shadows. It acted as a clock or calendar.
What's that down there?
That's the southeastern end of Machu Picchu. It's the only formal entrance, and it leads to the Inca Trail, the trail that leads to Machu Picchu. As well as being a well-preserved Inca relic, Machu Picchu is also the most important archaeological excavation center in South America, and therefore Peru's most popular tourist destination. In 1983, Machu Picchu was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is one of the few cultural and natural heritage sites in the world. There are too many visitors every year, so the Peruvian government has installed measures to assist with this. For example, limited visiting time and so on.
I think I could explore here for hours.
Before we explore further in our dreams, shall we have a quiz to see what we've learned today?
Yes, please, Grandfather.
Quiz time! Question 1. Machu Picchu was home to what people? A. The Romans. B. The Incas. Or C. The Celts. Excellent. B. The Incas. Question 2. Machu Picchu was never conquered by the Spanish. True or false? Great work. It's true. Question 3. What was the name of the professor at Yale University who first excavated it? A. Hiram Bingham. B. Jonathan Campbell. Or C. James Dean. Well done. It's A. Hiram Bingham. Let's recap before you go back to bed. Machu Picchu means Old Mountain, known as the Lost City of the Incas. Machu Picchu was excavated in 1911 by the Yale professor Hiram Bingham. Machu Picchu is in ruins. It is an ancient Inca city in Peru that was never conquered by the Spaniards. Archaeologists believe that Machu Picchu was not an ordinary city, and it was a country retreat for Inca nobles. The Incas believed that they shouldn't lift stones from the ground, so they sought scattered stones from the surrounding areas to build their cities. They are built entirely by precise cutting and piling. Now we can go to sleep after our wonderful adventure. Good night!
I hope you enjoyed learning with us. See you soon.